First, I'll be talking about what cookies are and what cookies can and cannot do. JavaScript cookies, they are a great way to save a user's preference in his browser. And a cookie is a small piece of text stored in the visitor's computer by a web browser. As the information is stored on the hard drive, it can be accessed later even after the computer is turned off. And cookie is mainly used in session management. Cookie is used to maintain a data relevant to the user during navigation, possibly across multiple visits. Cookies are actually introduced to provide a way to implement a shopping cart, a virtual device into which a user can store items they want to purchase as they navigate through the site. And then a cookie can be used for authenticating, but it's not a very good way of authenticating, as a user can easily get manipulated server-side, client-side scripting language. And then cookies are also used for personalization. Cookies may be used to remember the information about the user who has visited a website in order to show relevant content in the future. For example, a web server may send a cookie containing a username last used to log into a website so that it may be filled in for future visits. And then, cookies are used for tracking. And cookies remember specific information about the user like his name, password, and last visited date, etc. And initially, if a user requests a page of the site but the request contained no cookie, the server assumes that this is the first page visit by the user, and the client side server creates a random string and sends it as a cookie back to the browser together with the requested page. From this point onwards, cookie will be automatically sent by the browser to the server every time a new page from the site is requested. The server sends a page as usual, but also stores the URL of the requested page, the date and time of request, and the cookie in the log value. By looking at the log file, it is possible to find out which pages the user has visited and which sequence. And now we'll see what a cookie cannot do. JavaScript cookies cannot be used to write files on a server without the help of a server-side scripting language, and JavaScript cookies cannot access database unless we use a server-side script to perform the database access for us. And JavaScript cookies cannot close a window if it didn't open it. JavaScript cookies cannot access web page hosted on another domain, and JavaScript cookies cannot protect our web page sources or images. And now we'll see the structure of a cookie. If we have a single cookie from a site, it's just a string. We have a cookie name, and which contains a cookie value, and then expires. This contains the expiry date, and the expiry date should be in a GMT format. Thankfully, we have a inbuilt function that converts date to a GMT format in JavaScript, and then we have the path which is set to the URL path, and then we have a domain which puts cookie on our machine, and that's what a whole cookie is. Here's a simple example. Here I have given the value of username as Arvind, the value of expiry date as 31st December 2012, and the path as / and domain as arvind.com. And now we'll see how to create a cookie based on user value entered in a form. We are going to ask the user to type in his name, and we are going to take the data from the form and store it as a cookie. This is a simple HTML form with an input field. This is the input field where the user inputs his name, and the ID of the field is given as name field ID. And most of the work takes place in the script form, and we are going to the next slide. And this is the JavaScript form. We set up the name field int function over here, and then this checks whether already a cookie exists or not. And if if this is equal to nothing, we know that we have got a cookie. And this split is a predefined function. This splits the cookie in the equal to, and what comes back is an array. We end up getting the username, and the value of the user is username. And this is the set on blur function, and this is the event handler that calls the set cookie function. Now we'll go to the set cookie function. We set a new variable called expiry date, and new date is a function that gives the current date of the system, and then we set the expiry date. And the new date function will give the function in GMT format only, and we set the expiry date to 6 months in the future of the current date, and then we are going to grab the username from what the user has entered in the form. We come here because of the blur event handler being triggered, Now we set up the cookie in the function. This is the document.cookie part where we set up the cookie, and it should be exactly in the same format, otherwise we'll definitely get an error. And this is the basic introduction and the structure of a cookie. I'll explain more about cookie in the next video, more operations of cookie, including creating a counter using cookie.